So here's a quick backstory into why I built FrameOS and what problem it's solving. Now, if you're an app developer, so whether you're building iOS or Android apps, then you already know the importance of your App Store assets. So these are typically the screen recordings or screenshots that belong to your App Store listing, giving potential users better context and understanding of what your app is, what it does, and why it's important. Now, from my previous experience, setting up these App Store assets have been too painful to ignore, and I want to begin with the example of screenshots. So the typical workflow is you run your app on your iOS device and you start taking screenshots of the most important areas of your app or the features you want to showcase on your App Store listing. Once you upload those screenshots to App Store Connect, you are immediately hit with an error message. The dimensions of one or more screenshots are wrong. This is really confusing because I'm using a real device, so surely you'd accept those dimensions of that real physical device. Your next alternative is to use something like the iOS simulator or QuickTime. So again, you repeat the process, you take screenshots, you take screen recordings, and once you upload them to App Store Connect, you are hit with the same error. The dimensions of one or more screenshots or previews are wrong. So what are you left to do? You've got screenshots that don't work or are rejected from App Store Connect, and you've got screen recordings that are also rejected. Of course, you can use something like Figma, so you can just crop those screenshots to the desired dimensions. But again, that's a whole separate manual flow, and if you've got multiple screenshots across iOS and iPadOS, then it's a little bit of a manual process. So these are just one of many issues or problems I've experienced with App Store assets, and the main drive force for building FrameOS. Here's how FrameOS makes this whole entire process so much simpler for me. So, as you can see, I've got my iPhone connected via USB-C and it's mirrored perfectly. And then the first step is to actually set those dimensions that Apple will approve. So you go into Setup, you select Canvas, and then you scroll down straight to App Store. So these dimensions are already accepted by App Store Connect. So the first step is to start taking a few screenshots. So this will be the first screenshot. This will be the second screenshot. We'll go to X, and this will be the third screenshot. I will go to my profile. This will be the fourth screenshot. And then I will maybe go to App Store, for instance. And this will be the final screenshot. Once you've taken all your screenshots and you are happy with each one, the next step is to save and export all of them. And then the final step is to go to App Store Connect and just upload those screenshots. So as you can see, that was really quick and simple. You just take a few snapshots and you upload them straight to App Store Connect, and you get no dimensions are wrong errors. Of course, this also works for screen recordings. So I will just go back to Canvas and I will select preview video. So I'll go for portrait. And then once I'm happy, I will start recording. So maybe we'll scroll down to 3 different apps on App Store. Maybe we'll go back to X and we will just scroll the timeline and pull down to refresh. Maybe we'll go to our profile. Maybe we'll go to this link in this profile. Looks good. And maybe I'll go to another app. Let's go to YouTube, for instance. And then pull down to refresh. Yeah, this looks great. Once you are happy with the recording, you now need to edit the recording to make sure it will be approved as an App Store preview. So there are two main rules. The first one is your video needs to be between 15 and 30 seconds. And secondly, they need to be 30 frames per second. So we'll go to the section here and then we'll just set this to 30 seconds. So minimum 15 seconds for App Store, but in fact I'll go with 30 seconds because that's also acceptable. And then once I go back and click save, the next step is to ensure that it's also 30 frames per second. So as you can see, we actually help you identify that this App Store preview will be accepted based on the dimensions and the frame rate. Once you're happy, you export the video. And once the video is exported, the next step is to simply drag the exported video to App Store Connect. And there you go. It is immediately approved. Now, it will take a few minutes to process, but once it's processed, you'll be able to submit this app for review and this will appear as your App Store listings. So it will include your screenshots and your screen recording. And that's how FrameOS works. It's made my workflow so much simpler. All I need to do is connect my device, take screenshots using FrameOS and also screen recordings. And once I export those assets, simply upload them to App Store Connect and we are good to go. Thank you for watching.